Hey guys, Sean Little with Vapor Patrol Tactical. I'm going to discuss today laser rangefinders. So I've got three different laser rangefinders. I've got a really small compact laser rangefinder that fits in a grenade pouch. I've got my old school Leica that I deployed with. I took this to Iraq with me. So I got this donated to me back in 2003. Deployed with it in 2004 to 2005 to Iraq, and I've used it a ton since. But it's an old school Leica, still does really well. And then I've got a newer in this 511 pouch. This is a super badass Vectronics laser rangefinder that I'm getting to use right now. It came in a different pouch that was a lot bigger, and I went up going and finding a pouch that fits it really well. So we're going to go outside and do some lasing with these so you guys can see. As old as it is, the newer Leicas, I really like them. SIG Kilos, they've done a really good job with their stuff too. I don't have a SIG, but I'll cover what I've got here so you guys can get some information on different laser rangefinders. All right, so we got not so ideal conditions today. It's really overcast and windy. So this will be a good day to see what these lasers can really do. And as usual, I'm using my Precision Rifle Solutions tripod and cradle system that I'm going to use for the first laser rangefinder, which fits in this little grenade pouch, and it's a Rudolph Optics laser rangefinder. So we'll check this thing out. You guys can see how it does. All right, so the first laser I've got is this Rudolph Optics laser rangefinder. It's very small, compact laser rangefinder. You guys can see that. It's very nice, and it's good to about 500 yards. It's been reliable out to 500 yards. So I'm going to use a tripod here and try to see. I've got some known targets at different distances, so I'm going to try to see how far I can get out with this thing. But like I said, after using this for several years, it's been reliable out to 500 yards. So great for hunting applications. Get this kind of known target analysis. It's 500, so it's 566 the first time, 567, 566. All right, so up to 500 yards, doing really well. Doing this on a house, not anything small. We're going to push out a little bit further and get some other targets here. 647 yards, 647 yards, 647 yards to a truck that's in somebody's driveway. All right, so I'm at another known spot here. Get this thing adjusted. All right. Like I said, these are on fairly big targets. These aren't on small steel or anything like that. 719 yards. These are on houses, 719 yards. And 719 yards. So on big objects, doing really well. This house over here, 741 yards. See if I can catch the house in the background there across the street. Nope, not gonna get that, I don't think. So 742. So approximately 742 is the furthest I've gotten with this little thing so far, but that's on big houses. On steel, I've gotten on steel targets, IPSC steel targets out to 500 yards, half and 3/4 IPSC targets. Got one really big building in the far distance. See if I can catch that building. 904 yards. A very big building in the distance, 905 yards, 905 yards. So sometimes I like to do multiple readings because sometimes the laser won't pick up. If I get 3 readings in a row, at least 2 readings in a row in the field, then I know that I'm getting a solid reading. I want consistent readings, so if I get the consistent readings 2 times in a row, I consider that good, and so it's doing really well. So for this test, doing 3 times in a row, getting the same reading within 1 yard, I'm pretty confident in that. So. All right, just so you guys can get some, this is through the Rudolph Optics what it looks like. And I don't know if you guys can see, but it's 745 yards. You can see that flag in the corner of the house, left-hand corner of the house. That is that Marine Corps flag that I was talking about. All right. So that's out of the Rudolph Optics laser rangefinder. So again, for a budget pocket laser rangefinder, the Rudolph pocket laser rangefinder is a great pick. Like I said, very good out to 500 yards. I've been impressed with this. Takes a small, it's got kind of a unique battery, but you can get the batteries. I had the initial battery in this thing for probably close to 5 years, and I keep it in a grenade pouch on my belt. I use it quite a bit. I use it for pistol carbine classes for getting distances, and it's very reliable. The closest range I can get with this is 10 yards. So 10 yards all the way out to, I got 900 plus yards on that big building, but reliably in the field, you can get 500 yards with this thing, no problem. So on small targets. So really like this, always have this thing on my belt. It's inexpensive and works really well, very reliable, compact. All right, so my next laser is my tried and true Leica 1200. I got this thing back in 2003 and used it on deployment. It's supposed to be a 1200 yard laser rangefinder. This thing is over 15 years old now. Obviously you can tell it's got a little wear and tear and abuse on it. My geared equipment gets used very hard, and I've had this thing for over 15 years. So great laser rangefinder, did really well, served me really well in combat environment, and cannot, this is a legacy thing that I will hold forever. I'll keep this laser rangefinder forever. And so let's see what it'll do. So we'll start with our 200 yard little target right here. I'm sorry. Start with our little 500 yard house target right here. 563 yards. 562 yards. 563 yards. All right, so go to the truck I raised before. 646 yards. 645 yards, 645 yards. All right, and then the house just behind it. That real quick. 718 yards, 718 yards. Oh, got 721 yards. 718 yards. All right. So got a little variance there, 700 yards. All right, we'll go to this other bigger white house. 739 yards. 739 yards. 740 yards. And then we'll try for the big yellow building and the far back here. 903 yards. 901 yards. 904 yards. 901. Sorry, the eye relief on this is very difficult to maintain. You guys can see that house in the background. Yep, so the 901 yards is about the furthest I could get with it. Still not doing too bad. Small targets again. This will go out to 500 or 600 yards, and then on a little bit bigger targets, I've had it roll out to about 800 yards. So, like I said, when I first got this would laze everything out to 1100, 1200 yards pretty easily, but the age of this and electronics deteriorate over time, so being able to have this do as well as it's doing now out to 800, 5 to 800 yards reliably. They're still doing pretty well. So Leica 1200. Leica still makes great products. They make great laser rangefinders at a reasonable price, and they perform way better than the legacy products that this is. So maybe eventually I'll be able to do a video on Leica, newer Leica laser rangefinder. We'll see how that goes if I can get something in the near future. Anyways, Leica 1200, always love their products, and this laser still does super great. All right, so the granddaddy of them all right here. So this is a Vectronics Plurf 25 Charlie. All right, so Plurf 25, super awesome. It comes in a much bigger pouch. I wound up finding this 511 pouch to put this in. Fits in there very nicely. You know, I can put it on whatever I want to. Has some external pockets for data cards. It's got internal divider, little small pouches on the inside. Really like this little pouch. Has some stuff on the inside, so I put extra batteries and things in there. So, but the pouch that this came with was way too big, so I wasn't a little more streamlined. So I ended up getting this 511 pouch. Inexpensive, right? So I don't like spending a bunch of money on pouches because they're just kind of, it's a pouch. I don't need to spend $100 on a pouch whenever this will do. It cost me $30 or $35. So anyways, Plurf 25 Charlie, and as usual, what I really like about my Precision Rifle Solutions platforms are I can take my cradle off on the laser and just clip it right in, tighten everything down, and I'm good to go. So this I've already taken out to 4,000 yards, 4,000, 5,000 yards. It's pretty much what I've got within my range, and that's on cell phone towers and things like that. So I already know what the capability of this is. It'll go as far as, it goes way farther than I need it to, and it does it reliably. So let's laser a couple things like we did before. Initial house at 565 yards, 565, 564. All right, that's within a yard. All right, pan over to that truck. 647, 647. 647, and then the bigger house behind the truck, 720, 721, 720. All right, go to the bigger white house over here. Oh, look at that, there's a Marine Corps flag flying. I think that's on his neighbor's house though. That is definitely a Marine Corps flag right there on his neighbor's house, I believe. It might be on his house, but it's and that's the other thing with this type of laser rangefinder is it has really good glass in it. So being able to pick up details. I saw the flag earlier, but I didn't realize it was a Marine Corps flag. So now granted, most people aren't going to buy a laser rangefinder like this, but if you buy the better glass like the Leicas and the Swarovskis, laser rangefinders are going to have much better glass in them, and you're going to be able to pick up better details of what you're lasing, or other, if you're looking at flags and wind flags and things like that, be able to tell significant details like that it's a Marine Corps flag at that kind of distance. So I can definitely tell it's a Marine Corps flag from here. So 741 yards, and I can tell it's a Marine Corps flag. So that's pretty impressive that this thing has that kind of glass in it. All right, 741, go a little bit further out on some of those targets I couldn't hit before. 802 yards on that house. Chimney, let's do chimney top. 1,054 yards on the chimney top. 1,054, same chimney top, right or wrong, it counts. 1054. So that's pretty impressive to be able to get a smaller target. In little chimney stack, probably, I don't know, probably 8 inches in diameter, all right, at 1054 yards. And so we'll go to, let's see here. So we've got some more chimney stacks on that bigger yellow building. Let's see if I can get that. 912 yards, 913 yards, 913 yards. Again, about an 8-inch target. Little chimney, aluminum chimney stack coming out of the rooftop of that big yellow building in the background. So, all right, let's see if we can get something a little further out there. It's another chimney. This is just a siding of a chimney, so probably 2 foot by 2 foot. 2,057 yards. 2,057 yards. 2,058 yards. All right, so plus or minus 1 yard. Go to the let's go to the cell tower. Stand down cell tower. 3,079. 3,079. 3,081. 3,081. So within 2 yards at 3,081 yards. So again, this laser rangefinder is phenomenal and does a great job. Although the price is just astronomical as to what most people would pay for a laser rangefinder, but my recommendations on laser rangefinders, my #1 pick is the Leicas. I really like the Leicas. They do a really good job of building great laser rangefinders. The glass in them is really good, really nice. They just build a quality product. I've been super impressed with them, and the price point isn't bad. Have a good range of laser rangefinders for different distances and applications, so you can find those just about anywhere. Swarovski makes a really nice laser rangefinder. 6R would be my #3 pick. 6R makes a bunch of different laser rangefinders at different price points and applications. So anyways, that's my 2 cents on laser rangefinders, and hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, keep it point of aim, point of impact. All right, electronics, reticle. Try to zoom in here. So that flag in the left-hand corner of the house, when it blows, you can see that it's a Marine Corps flag. You get a lot more detail with this type of laser rangefinder. It's very nice. You have the etched reticle that's already in there. So you don't have to wait for your target to come up. It's already on there. And then you just push a single button to get you can get azimuth. Other features to this laser rangefinder: get azimuth and you get your distance. You can also measure between 2 points, measure the inclination, a bunch of other features to this laser rangefinder. Very nice for the money.